Hello, my name's Shudley and welcome back for another episode of Ep13 as Persia. In previous episode, we managed to get the munitions plant going. Our tributary decided to try to declare war, but luckily we took over that and decided to back down because there was no penalties for us in that, so we figured that that would be better because that would have pulled us into war against Russia, and that's not necessarily a very good idea, let's be honest. We're currently building a bit of government administration in our capital to get that total level to 10 over here, which is then going to allow us to get the central archives thing completed, which is going to be fairly useful. And we are currently researching the water tube boiler, which is going to allow us to increase our mining output quite massively. And then we'll get the corporate charges to get some more, well, first get our first component, really. And of those, we're probably going to go with the well, the one that boosts the opium plantations, because that increases the throughput in the buildings by, 14% or so, which is already a pretty decent boost there. And that should be fine, but let's go ahead and pulse, shall we? We do have a little bit of movement for interventionism. It's currently supported by an agitator, which is not very popular, as well as the trade unions, which are, well, very marginalized right now. I wouldn't mind getting the interventionism, to be fair, but that's going to have to wait a little bit. We have increased our construction speed a little... Oh, what's this then? Rolling Shajal. Okay. Oh, these two are fighting. Okay, I can probably declare neutrality on that. I can't really join on that anyway. Oh, I can't really participate in that easily anyway. The private sector is currently building class works in Tabriz, which are basically completed. And then food industry in Mazandaran. And then after that, vineyards and livestock ranches. Okay, so there's a few things. One thing that I did notice is that we are running a little bit low on workers in Far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start using the harvesting tools over here. It may reduce the profit a tiny bit, but that's going to allow us to have a bit more workers in there. Another place that needs a lot more attention is Bampur. They should still have a fairly good surplus of transportation, right? Yeah, they got plus 15. I believe the opium plantation, yeah, that already uses transportation. What I could do is go for the tobacco plantation, for example, so that's going to be about 5. And I suppose the dye plantation, we could do the same. Start reducing the labor need there just a tiny bit. It's not going to be a particularly massive impact, mind you. I'm sure that it will help. I suppose another thing that I could do is I could put the public trams over here. That's going to reduce the labor use a tiny bit, provides a bit more services and transportation. Does require a bit more engines, mind you, but I think that's still going to be good in the long run. So that's true to reduce the labor need over here a tiny bit. It might not really have that much of an impact, though. I do have a university. Oh, right, that was the university that was built by the event, isn't it? Right, in the meanwhile, we did get one of the government administrations built in our capital already. We're getting the munitions plant in... Actually, is that... Did we actually build it in here? I suppose we did. Was that intentional? Oh, there was the lead mine. Right, that's why we built it in there, because that is going to require lead as well as explosives, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, oil discovered in North Caucasus. Well, unfortunately, I can't discover oil yet myself. We're currently losing a decent amount of money, but we've got a fairly good gold reserves. We've got 1.9 million. Oh, and there's the central archives done. Filing cabinets. We can either get more bureaucracy, or we can get the identification documents, a bit of brokers. I'm going to take that one. That's going to save us a bit of time on research. Later on, at least. We have lost a little bit of the innovation boost, though. So that kind of means that we might want to build yet another university somewhere. I think something like Tabriz could probably use one, just to get the qualifications there slightly faster. Of course, you'd want this to be built in places where you have paper mills and you have already several universities to get the most out of it. But this is not so much for the innovation, although it is partially for the innovation, but it's mostly to make sure that we got the qualifications, so once we start building factories and all that, they will be able to get their workers quickly and hopefully somewhat cheaply as well. Looks like our economy has taken a bit of a hit. We did start the episode with 14 million in GDP. And if we do have a look at the listing in here, so we are about 500,000 behind Japan. We are above Belgium at least. And Ottomans are also a bit less than 1 million ahead of us. Confederate States are 1.2 million. And then after that it starts growing quite quick. Oh, a decent chunk there. Right, we're also building a logging camp in our capital, which should then start reducing the local price for wood. Which, to be fair, we got the paper mills and all that in here, which you do use quite a bit of wood in there. I'm guessing the wood price over here locally is... oh, the wood deficit is about 400. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So it's a bit on the expensive side. So So building up those, I think we're building both of them already. Yes, we are. Okay, so that's going to reduce some of the price at least. After these three, we're going to start building... Oh, Northern Balochistan. Oh, over there we're building a coal mine. Which is mostly to get some reduction or some production over here. And to be fair, we've got a little bit of the industries already. How much is each one of these actually going to be infrastructure? It is 2 infrastructure use, okay. So that will get us a bit over the limit, but we are going to incorporate the state at some point in the not too distant future, which actually reminds me, do we still have states that we need to incorporate that we haven't started yet? No, we are incorporating everything already. Good, good. We actually got a bit of extra authority, though. I suppose we could put another, well, I suppose luxury clothing tax, for example. So the deficit is still staying at 12,000, which is still a decent chunk, mind you. But at least we can get a bit of the money, keep things rolling nicely. We got a bit of extra productivity right now. Oh, what's this then? Kuch? An Ottoman Empire? Oh, apparently... how did we get pulled into this one? I don't know. We haven't been promised anything, that's for sure. I suppose since we are kind of allied with them, that might be part of the reason. It could be that we've given them... Oh, is that... Oh, Ottoman Empire is active on this war. Okay. I'll be giving this army. They've got quite a bit of troops there. So I suppose what I need to do is I need to set up my troops, at least start with one of these armies. Put that on the defense front. We're going to mobilize it already. It's going to be a bit expensive, mind you. We might have to increase the taxes for this war. Just to be on the safe side. Actually, another thing that I could do... Because there is some front lines that... oh, there's a Gujarat front, right. Well, I'm sure that someone's going to get troops there. So, we are... Actually, in terms of Liberty Society, we still haven't gotten their independence. We could request knowledge sharing from Russia again. They will not accept that. Which is going to get us back to the high range over here. Well, okay, didn't quite get us there. 74? I guess if we request market control as well, we can keep relation with Russia as low as possible. And there we go. Now we are in cold relations. The Liberty side is actually slowly growing. Very slowly, mind you, but we are at least reducing the impact of everything else. So I guess that's going to be fine. I do actually wonder, so the Loyalist Association is just the landowners. They have reduced, or we have reduced their power at least a decent chunk there. There's still a lot of work to do, mind you, but it's at least an improvement. So I do actually wonder if this war is really going to happen. I mean, with the Ottoman Empire being and all there already and all that, it might happen. The thing is, of course, is there... Oh, there's a whole lot more troops heading in here, so we don't really need to worry about the armies too much. There's also a lot of Ottomans heading down this way. We might activate the second army just in case later on, but we're not going to do that quite yet. We've got fairly good relations with Britain at least, so that's going to be good. Did we... Oh dear, Russia sides with Kuch. Right, so we're going to have to fight against Russia as well, are we? Or are we now switching sides because of that? Oh, we're no longer in the war. Huh. Right, so that means that Russia might then pull us into the war against Britain. Oh boy, that's going to be tricky. Well, there's a bright side. We don't have the armies active right now. We are going to get the munitions plant done. Oh, engine prices starting to be pretty high. Actually, that reminds me, did we upgrade the units to skirmish infantry yet? No, we did not. We haven't gotten the munitions plant up and running. So I suppose what we'll do is once we have that up and running, we'll start switching at least some other troops to skirmish infantry to make sure we can get slightly better troops into the, well, very likely combat. Russia stop improving in relations. Alright then. I do wonder... Well, that probably wouldn't work. I mean, I'm just wondering, like, if I was to declare independence, I don't think I can. Support regime, they would not even accept that one. Hold on a minute. Oh, right, yeah. Okay, let's actually go ahead and request that. So we can get to, like, 90 Liberty or somewhere around there. So we could potentially declare independence. And that would potentially... No, they would not even nearly accept that. They got quite a sizable army, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a fairly sizable, yeah. So we'll bide our time for now, but we are getting closer and closer to the point where we really need to get our independence from Russia. Just so that they don't pull us into nonsensical wars that we don't really need to be in. Engine shortage is starting to be pretty massive. We got motor industries upgrading already in here. Let's actually have a look. Is that something? Yes, that's something that we queued up. That's good to know. And the private sector, right, that's still in the food industry, still in Mazandaran, which that is actually fairly sizable population in there. It's 1 million, okay, so it's not that massive, but there is a bit of farming in there, at least, so, you know, getting a bit of extra production in there probably wouldn't hurt. There's also Balochistan, and northern Balochistan are having some problems with the population. Turmoil is still pretty bad. Russian market access is fine, so that's at least good. Wait, so who is that divided with? Oh, Oman has a small portion over there, okay. They've got a lot of turmoil there. But there we go, the munitions plant will be done very shortly. We are getting the water tube boiler soon-ish. Defensive pact with Great Qing, you know what, I will take it. Political lobby formed. Persian Qing Association. Can I actually request independent support from anyone else? Probably not. Not currently. Defensive pact, there's nothing that is particularly great in there. Alliances, there's, well, Egypt could be potentially useful in a... I don't actually know. How much of an army do they have? They have lost a lot of ground. They've got 76 still. No, we don't have a lot of leverage over them. But that's fine. Ooh, there we go. The munitions plant is now built. The production over there is not going to be... Well, actually, it will be quite a bit because there is a huge demand for ammunition already. Now, the total production that we will have is like 50 plus 20%, as I suppose 60 is what it will be. There we're getting the second logging camp as well in our capital. We also started working on the coal mines over here in northern Balochistan, but that's going to be very slow construction. Even if we put in the focus in there, it's probably not going to be quick enough anyway. We are also increasing our army size a tiny bit to 70 battalions, but that's going to take a little while. We're now at 14.6 million. So, as it turns out, especially if you're not fighting yourself, war in the world can be very, very profitable. So Baltic Covenants, I'm going to declare neutrality on this, for now at least. Because I don't think I can be against Russia right now until I declare my independence. But at the same time, I don't really want to be in this war altogether either. It's just going to be a very bloody war, and that's probably going to lead into... I mean, I have a feeling that we'll still get pulled into a war, whether we want it or not. Which, of course, the answer is the latter. But... yeah, well, oh, right, so we're getting a little bit construction over here. I suppose that what I could do is cancel the road maintenance there and put it in the northern Balochistan just to speed up the construction a bit further, which should then give us a bit more point. And there we go. They pulled us into the war. I knew that would happen, and now we've got a whole lot of front lines that we potentially need to fight in. We do already have some troops over here that, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade the skirmish infantry. And we can potentially go ahead and send this... Well, which front do we send it to? There's a Hormuz front. I could potentially go down this way. So we're on the Ottoman side of things. At least we got that going for us. I'm just going to go in there. We're going to try to go ahead and advance the front as quickly as possible to clear out some of these pockets. And then I guess we've got a few units there. We could probably go ahead and activate this army. Defend front. Mobilize, and we'll just send it down to the British Raj border. So I knew this would happen. Looks like the Ottoman side has at least conquered a lot of land in here in the meanwhile. So that does help. And is this one going to be... Yeah, it will be advancing, hopefully. There are several armies heading in here from our side. Which I believe our army is going to be the first one. Or one of the first ones, anyway. To arrive there, and we might be able to clear out at least the Hormuz fast front. Ooh, neat, is it already in default? Alright then. Right, in the meanwhile, is there actually a lot of trades that are inactive or something? No, surprisingly enough, no. Unfortunately, our market access in our capital is a bit reduced. That's mostly because we took away the infrastructure boost there. That makes quite a difference. Basically, with the population that we have, there's 50 infrastructure. So, you know, it's a decent chunk. We could build another level of railway there, mind you. Another thing that we could do, we got a decent bit of transportation. Well, not massive amounts, mind you, but a little bit. So, are we actually... Let's go ahead and use the harvesting tools in here. Improve the profitability of those farms a tiny bit. We are still losing a lot of money, and... Oh my goodness, we are defending against quite a bit of more advanced enemy in here. Which, well, I suppose we are at least clearing out some of these, right? Right. At least we're trying to. There is a bit of enemies arriving very shortly. And the Russian side is having a lot of morale issues there. Is not good. Not good at all. Both engines and opium are in massive demand in the market. And yeah, we already have most of Balochistan occupied. Now we at least did get some troops in there. It's mostly to buy some time, so that the enemy will, you know, not advance too much. They do have some more troops heading in there. I could potentially go ahead and select the army and start upgrading the troops into skirmish infantry. It's going to take a while, mind you, but that's at least something that we can utilize then. And are we advancing in here yet? No, not yet. Baltic governorates are in default. Well, that's not good. I'm hoping that the coal mine in northern Balochistan will be built quickly, though. And we're buying some time for the reinforcements to arrive. The Russians will be advancing the front, most likely. Trying to retake some of the areas. There is still a lot of enemy troops arriving this way as well. Alright, so we've destroyed one enemy. I believe we also occupied that one. So where could we now send you? Either there, here, or... Actually, where is the last one? Oh, there's another one over there. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and send it down that way. And is the... Well, the defense is slightly better. We're going to just hold on to the front line for now. We do, technically speaking, still have a few more battalions that are not in combat. Or have not been mobilized yet. That's probably going to be fine. And then, hopefully... So, I don't really want to defeat the British troops too much. I don't want to weaken their armies, because I'm going to need their help in getting independence later. Oh, there's Albania front line against the Ottomans. Oh, this... Right, okay. Yeah, no, that's quite a bit. Finnish liberal revolt is happening. Alright then. So it is. Oh, North German Federation is pretty big. Right, so we are still losing a lot of money, which is no surprise there. Oh, it looks like the British side is... oh yeah, they're just pouring all the troops in here. We've got a little bit troops defending. I'm hoping that that will be enough to hold back most of these troops, but... the numbers that they have in there is increasing daily. And that's just going to be a massive armies attacking now, both of our armies. Okay, we've got 51 defense in there. And what about the other one? We've got 31. We might lose this one. The other one we are probably going to win. And inflict, hopefully, a lot of casualties in the process. I think a lot of our troops are still upgrading, though. We've got some of the skirmish infantry, but yeah, we've got a low line infantry there still. So that's going to cause a bit of issues, no doubt. We are building an opium plantation, actually, in Mars, which... Is that something new? That's a private sector... No. No, that's the Russians doing that. Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of good, but it's also a little bit low on workers over here at this point. I'm sure the population is increasing, though. It's 800,000 currently. So it's not the worst. Did we... I did queue up the railway in our capital. Yes, I did. I might build that before the university. Actually, no. We're going to build the university before the barracks is... Well, we do need more troops. I think the innovation is going to be more important in the long run. Just 6 more months for the water tube boiler to be completed. We need more steel and steamers in the Russian market. Okay. I don't think I have switched to the steamers yet. I just use the clippers, don't I? Yes, that is indeed the case. Right, so the first battle... Inconclusive. Oh, okay. That can happen. Oh, right, because we lost too much of the state, so it pushed us back even further. Okay. So now we're getting occupied by the British then, slowly but surely. We are still inflicting casualties, mind you. We've got fairly good defense, but it's not going to be enough. And we need serious help in here, but I don't think we're going to get any because the Russians are so determined to try to take Circassia all they might, and then that's not going to go all that well, I'm afraid. There's also the Russians getting beaten back. If you look at the numbers in here, they've got 200 battalions versus our 90. There is a little bit of reinforcements heading down this way, but whether they'll arrive here in time or not remains to be seen. It looks like that coal mine will be built, well, hopefully soon. I'm going to then go ahead and move the road maintenance back to our capital, I think. Because that is getting a lot of construction work in there, and we do want to get the motor industries done sooner rather than later. We do still have a cash reserves of 1.4 million, so we are still in relatively good state in regards to that. But yeah, our fighting over here is not doing too great. What I could do is I could potentially give promotions to both of these generals, which should usually... Well, first of all, it allows us to control more troops, but it might also give them slightly better traits down the line. But it's currently... It's not going to have much of an impact right now. It looks like our side is going to be losing the war. I don't think I can make it a peace. I can't capitulate. Because our overlord is still participating. Right, so that just means that we're going to get probably the entire eastern half of our nation occupied. Brilliant. Thank you, Russia. I don't suppose I can declare my independence war yet. No, because we are in the same side in the diplomatic play. Right, well, hopefully... Well, I don't think that's going to actually happen. We're going to get our economy crushed, most likely. And then the Russians are just going to get, you know... Well, I suppose there's a little bit of occupation over here, so that's going to distract the enemy. So maybe the Russians will get occupied pretty bad as well. That's kind of the one saving grace that I'm hoping to get in here. And then, like, after a little bit of a respite, we might try to get our independence. We got a fairly high liberty desire, that's for sure. Unfortunately, we can't really act on that right now. It looks like, yeah, they've already occupied 2 full states here, and it's not going any better for us. GDP is at least almost 15 million, so that's good. Standard of living, on the other hand, is going to have a bit of suffering over here. So I don't suppose I can really do much with the British right now. Are they still supporting our independence, mind you? No, I don't think so. Right, so that's another thing that was then completely wrecked by Russia. Oh, Kuch already pieced out. Now it's just a matter of whether... I suppose there's still a few other nations in here, mostly Ottomans and Russia, and then of course the Russian subjects, us and the Baltic states, or Baltic colonists, are still fighting on, but probably not for very long. Especially since we're still taking massive... Well, actually, that's going to be a victory over there. This one, on the other hand, is not going to be a victory. But, like, there's just not enough troops to really fight on all of these battles, and our troops aren't really that great. We probably should have started upgrading the troops a bit earlier. It'll be alright in the end, I suppose. We could use a bit more paper, I reckon. Yeah, probably. That would increase the productivity. Well, actually, no. The productivity will still be fairly decent. It's going to be slightly less. But the projected earnings is going to be pretty good. Now, how bad is the wood shortage in here? It's still 300. That is quite a bit. And we are privatizing those, so that's going to increase the productivity a tiny bit further. So how much are we still spending on construction? 24,000. Of which 12,000, so basically half of it is spent on iron. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Still need to get a lot more iron production, but of course once we get the water tube boilers, that's going to increase the productions a lot. Are we... Oh, we actually have a victory here. Well, about time. Don't think we actually managed to retake any land, though. No, we still only control 17%. And there's another battle up here in the north, that's going to be a loss for us. There's so many battles that we're going to be most likely losing. We just don't have the army size. And we didn't really want to be in this war, to be fair, but now there's a, what, 300 battalions close to? 246 battalions total on the enemy side here, and our side has about half that. Oh, East Africa is in default. Well, luckily we're not going to go into default quite yet, at least. So we can weather through this without having to take too much loans or anything like that. Hopefully, at least. But our army size is basically completely wrecked. We have very little troops remaining. We've got total manpower of about 22,000. And going down. Okay, yeah, the paper price is pretty high now. I suppose we could try to get a bit more paper mills in here. On the other hand, I suppose farms would be another good place for, but there's not a lot of workers there. So I think our capital will probably have to do. We'll build one more in there. To get up with the railways and all that. Actually, we might want to... No, we want to get the barracks built, I suppose, faster, so we can get some of that training going. Did we ever change the... I think we did change the training laws, didn't we? Let me double check. We did, okay. Well, and that's going to be a massive victory for Russians again. And there's a Russian counterattack that is getting pushed back. Lovely. Ottomans are getting pushed back. So yeah, our troops are just not in a good shape. The Ottomans are getting probably pushed out of the war soon enough. There's still fighting going on in the Baltic states. Which, to be fair, looks like the British are actually still holding on in there. Oh, they just got another 100 battalions there. Right. So that's probably going to start pulling back the Allied troops over here on our front line. So the thing is, I don't think I'll be able to get back into good graces with the British, can I? They are rather antagonistic right now. Of course, it could just be, you know, they still want to protect us. So there is a chance that they would still support our independence afterwards. And seeing as they have already beaten... Oh, canneries unlocked. There we go. I think that's something that... Let's first of all double check in terms of the market. Is the meat... okay, fish price is a little bit elevated. Meat price is not. So what I can do with the canneries... Of course, it's going to take a bit more iron, which is not something that we definitely have enough. But we can go for the canned meat, which is going to reduce the grain price... Well, I suppose, yeah, grain price is going to go down a little bit, and grain demand is going to go down a decent chunk. We'll need a bit less sugar, actually, at least momentarily. We'll get more machinists, although not all that many. It's like 125 per level, by the looks of it. We need a bit more iron, and we will get a bit more groceries as well. So that should be slightly better for us. And we are now 5 more weeks away from the water tube boiler. Oh, and now they... Oh, right, we can't export clothing anymore to Egypt. Right, well, I guess we'll cancel that one. Or luxury clothing in this case. But yeah, so we'll cancel that one. The water tube boiler is now spreading, so that's going to be done very, very shortly. Alright, that was the canneries that we just got. Right, I was wondering, like, hold on, so where are we actually getting? But no, that makes all sense. Baltic governors are in default once again. That's the second time. We're losing a whole lot of convoys. I suppose that might be one of the reasons why the thing wasn't going on, and we're just losing more and more ground in here, and I can't really do much about that. I've got a bit of troops in here, they're doing the best they can to hold the ground, but the manpower that we have is like less than 15,000 now. So I can't really do too much. It's going to take a little while for our armies to recover after this war, which, you know... Oh, there's the water tube boiler. Right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go and upgrade basically all the mines. We should have decent bit of tool production. I mean, it might be a bit of high demand at this point. We're going to do that. At least for the iron and coal mines. I suppose we can probably do that on the other mines as well. Might not be making all of them exactly profitable right now, but I'm sure that there's going to be a lot more use for those stuff anyway. Oh, there we go. Suddenly, well, I suppose it may have been some construction is about to be completed. Although I suppose that should reduce the construction cost quite a bit as well. Oh, one of the things might be that the army upkeep is basically nothing at this point because we don't have an army. So there is that. Ooh. Mechanized workshop is spreading. That's actually going to be quite good. I think what we might want to do, though, is after the corporate charters, I think the logistics is going to be done before that. Hydraulic cranes would allow us to have some more levels for ports. Rifling would allow us to get some more small arm production, so that might be useful. And then in the production, I suppose the mechanized workshop is going to be spreading anyway. I could go for the chemical bleaching, get more porcelain. Or I could go for Bessemer production. Actually, I'm going to go for that one. Get more steel production, because steel shortage is very much a thing in our market right now. Yeah, I'm going to play Russia for that. At least for the most part. Right, so yeah, pretty much the entire eastern half of our nation has been occupied. Luckily, we won't be losing anything permanently other than the people, of course, in this war. Unfortunately, I can't be peacing out either, so we might have pretty much our entire nation occupied before the Russians are willing to take the peace deal. Well, they have actually managed to occupy Circassia, so that at least helps them. Baroda is in default. Right then. We're still making money, I suppose mostly because we're not paying much to the army anymore. The university in Tabriz is going to be done in a few weeks. I could move the edict in there, or the decree in there, but I'm actually not going to do that. Construction cost has gone down even further. Is that because... No, actually... I suppose, yeah, the iron price has gone down quite a bit. Wood price has gone down a little bit. Tool price is probably elevated a tiny bit, but not too much, mind you. Oh yeah, we need a massive amount of steel over here. So yeah, things are a bit of a problem. One of the things I could potentially do... is this one I could... Wait, no, can I can't nationalize. Right, because that's, yeah, owned by different... Okay. Or owned by foreign stuff, I don't think I can nationalize that right now. So, how bad is the situation of the front line? It's really bad, isn't it? Oh wow, we got 20,000 men total against the 113,000. Even though, in terms of battalions, the difference is actually not quite as bad anymore. Oh, they did move a lot of their armies away. But yeah, no, things aren't looking too great for us. We lost most of our convoys, so we can't really do most of the trades anymore. Other than land trade, I suppose, which is most of the stuff that we're doing, really. The fight over there is Still pretty rough. Oil discovered in Hormuz. Oh. Oh, right, in Oman's area, is it? Or is it just more oil in here? Oh, it's just more oil in Hormuz. Unfortunately, I can't build those yet. Ooh. Friendship with France. I mean, I suppose we could try doing that. French Republic is over here being... Well, we could improve relations with them for sure. To get at least slightly better situation there. And now we've got even more of our nation occupied by Britain. Of course, our troops aren't really capable of doing any fighting at this point. Russia is losing more and more war support. And we're still making money. So that's kind of good. Right, we did get the university built, so that's going to allow us to get a bit more innovation. Hopefully the corporate charges will be done slightly faster because of that. We got the barracks being built, and then another railway, a paper mill. What's the private sector building? They're building the livestock ranch, they'll build another fertilizer plant, and then a sugar plantation. So that should be pretty decent. There's a lead mine built by the Russians as well. Where's the steel mills that we have? Oh, psychiatry. Oh, there we go. Progressive population cost multipliers reduced. More maneuvers per diplomatic play and more influence. Which is not bad at all. So in far as we have a... Right, we do have a fertilizer plant there, but that's owned by, you know, Russians, I suppose. We do have some wheat fields in there, or wheat farms. Also got some vineyards. Which do we have any more transportation available in there? We probably have a tiny bit. It's a +3, so it's not really all that much. If you were to put this one in there, that's going to be... Well, I suppose that might be just about enough. We'll save a little bit of more labourers for the factories and other things like that. No, we're not going to win this. We are dealing damage at least, but yeah, that's not going to be quite enough. But yeah, after that, after this war, it might be time for us to start increasing our army size to like 100 battalions and then get our independence so Russia won't pull us into stupid wars like this again. Because I am not amused. But anyway, since there's not much I can do about this war, I'm just going to focus on the economy in the meanwhile. So we're getting the railway and the paper mill built. The railway will be built fairly quickly, so what do we need else? Like, really badly in the market? Steel. I suppose the steel price in our capital is pretty high. So we could potentially go ahead and build another steel... Oh, wow, that's a massive profitability. We'll build a second steel mill in there. After the paper mill and all that. So that's going to increase the... Well, I suppose urbanization of our capital will be also increasing quite nicely. And suddenly a whole lot of units are moving away here. So it's just me at this point. No, well, not entirely. No, there's still quite a few others, actually. Although, well, I say quite a few others. There's some others on the front line still. Probably not for long. So Fars has been occupied already. We've taken Merv. Yeah, and we have basically no convoys. We are, yeah, looking pretty bad in terms of convoys right now. And Russia starts just sending all their troops to this front line. I suppose it is closer to their capital, but that is like they got 365 battalions in here total versus 200 enemy battalions, and they're not still making much of a difference there. Which kind of tells me that the Russian troops might not be all that great. Let's actually have a look. If we take a look at this, one of these armies, for example, what do you have? You do have a bit of skirmish infantry, so you're actually about the same as what we have, our troops, except slightly less, perhaps. Well, of course, they're not full manpower and all that, so there is that. But I do see that we are actually definitely out of time for this episode, so if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll check out the links down below in the description part of that. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.